I inform you that each of you individually has particular rights and protections. One, you each individually in your own cases respectively have the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. You each have the right to a jury trial. That means that you individually, with your attorney and participation with the state, could select 6 citizens from a pool of disinterested citizens to serve as jurors, hear all the evidence, testimony, whatever materials would be properly presented. And those 6 people would decide whether you're not guilty or whether you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. It's called the right to a jury trial. You each have the right to confront witnesses. That means if any one of you decided to go to trial, you would each at that point have the right, if you went to trial, the state would try and prove you guilty by witnesses. Those witnesses would be subject to your questions, cross-examine, or challenge with the assistance of your attorney. That's called the right to confront witnesses. You each have the right to appeal. That is a right that you use after the case is over, it's finished, the dust settled. You alone, your attorney alone, or the 2 of you together could demand that a higher court review the official record and the evidence, all the evidence in these particular proceedings with whatever legal challenge you wanted to make. I would caution you that appeal is a little bit difficult. It is a very important right, but you have to be aware that there's time limitations and you have to use the right paperwork with the right information. That's the right to appeal. You and the state in each of these cases have the right to demand that these proceedings be held in the open public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. So each of you has reviewed and signed a document. Each document in your particular case identifies you by name, case number, and court number. And the document itself is signed by you. Now, all the documents in your particular cases that have your signature, did each of you review those documents with the help and the counsel or guidance of your individual attorney? Ms. Garcia, Mr. Munoz helped you?
Yes, he did.
Mr. Jensen, Judge Barron's helped you?
I believe so.
I'm sorry?
I believe so.
Well, did you sign some documents
Yes, yes.
in this case? And did the judge help you or talk to you about it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Sanchez, did Mr. Campbell help you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do any of you, the 3 of you, have any questions about these documents that you have each individually signed? Mr. Sanchez,
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jensen,
No, Your Honor.
and Ms. Garcia.
No, sir.
All right. Among the documents that each of you has signed is, again, the consent to video conference. We've discussed that. There's also a critically important document. It's called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. That document, within it, as you acknowledge that you are aware of the rights and protections that I discussed verbally, but this document has them in writing, including the right to a jury trial, the right to remain silent, and other rights. Did each of you sign that document and understand it? Mr. Jensen?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Ms. Garcia, and Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. There's another document. It's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. That document informs you, I certify to you as a judge, that because you're participating in a plea bargain, your own deal, that you do not have a right of appeal. Did you sign it and understand that, Ms. Garcia,
Yes, I did.
Mr. Sanchez,
Yes, Your Honor.
and Mr. Jensen?
Yes, Your Honor.
In addition, State, am I correct in that each one of them is going to have probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, each of you has signed an application for probation. Ms. Haas, what kind of probation is Ms. Garcia going to get ultimately?
Regular probation, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
Regular probation?
Regular, okay. Mr. Jensen, what type of probation?
Deferred,
All right. And Mr. Sanchez?
deferred.
All right. Lady and gentlemen, you have each applied for probation. Probation is a written legal binding agreement between you and this court that essentially says you will live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision. In exchange, you don't go to jail. I suspend the jail sentence. In the cases of deferred adjudication, you will each submit a plea that is sufficient for me to find you guilty, but I will not. Instead, you will be under supervision, and if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then your individual case to which you plead will be dismissed, and under Texas law, you're not convicted. If you fail or refuse to live up to 100% of the conditions, the state may ask me to give you official notice, bring you in, have a hearing, at which point it is possible that under the evidence, under the law, that I will convict you at that point, a conviction that follows you the rest of your life. Plus, you'll be looking at 100% of the range of punishment. Each case has its own range of punishment. Now, Jennifer Garcia,
Yes, sir.
tell me what you're doing on this case.
The state has no motions on this case, Judge.
She's going to plead to DWI
Yes,
with
Your Honor.
a 0.15 or higher.
Yes, Your Honor. No,
Okay,
I think it's a DWI.
It was supposed to be the below 0.15.
it's a DWI first. Mr. Munoz.
That was my understanding.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure then, is that the state you disagree with it? Hello? Ms.
Sorry, Judge,
Haas?
I'm looking it up. The state would actually have a motion. Sorry, I mismarked that on the plea paperwork. It is charged as a 1.5 right now. The state would move to waive and abandon the 1.5 enhancement and proceed on a DWI first.
No objection.
Okay, so I am sorry, you threw me off on that. I was looking at the docket. What is the motion?
The motion is to waive and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed on a DWI first.
Okay. Ms. Garcia, you understand that that means that the case has been reduced from extreme intoxication to DWI first or misdemeanor B. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right, to that charge, ma'am, how do you plead?
No contest.
A no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court and is sufficient for me to convict you. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. The court accepts your plea of no contest. Based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. State, recite for me and on the record the agreement on punishment.
Yes, Your Honor, the agreement is 180 days, probated for 6 months. A $200 fine plus court costs, but the fine being fully probated. 24 hours community service. DWI education program. Victim impact panel. TAP evaluation. And ignition interlock for half the term.
Which is 3 months.
Yes.
Ms. Garcia, do you understand that to be your agreement?
Correct. Yes.
And Mr. Munoz, do you understand that to be the agreement?
That is the agreement, Your Honor. And I would like to be heard as to the either now or whenever the court deems it appropriate.
All right. Ms. Garcia, do you have children you support?
I do.
How many?
Just one.
One? What's the age of your child?
12.
All right. And how, what kind of income do you have, ma'am, total, from what all sources?
None at present. I was laid off from my job.
All right. Okay, Mr. Munoz, the court will hear you.
Yes, Judge. Just basically summarizing what my client stated. She's not working. She's looking for housing and employment. She's currently living at a motel right now, so she's barely getting by. Further, the father is not contributing any money towards child support. The AG's office is looking at locating him, but they have not been able to locate him to get any funds from him to her. So she's just barely getting by, Judge. So whatever the court can do in minimum fees, we appreciate it.
All right. I approve the agreement. You're sentenced to 180 days locked up, suspended and probated for 6 months. During those 6 months, you're not to drink any alcohol whatsoever and stay out of trouble. You are fined $200 plus court costs. Those are probated, meaning fully probated, that you will not pay any fine if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision. You will perform 24 hours of community supervision. You'll do the DWI education program, the victim impact panel. You'll have the TAP evaluation and recommendations will be subject to my approval. You'll have ignition interlock on your vehicle for 3 months, continuous. During those 3 months, you're not to drive any other vehicle other than your own equipped with the ignition interlock. The supervisory fee is waived. Mr. Munoz,
Yes, Judge.
as an officer of the court requests that you contact and push the Attorney General's office on behalf of Ms. Garcia.
Yes, Judge. I'll do my best with a contact to advise them of the situation.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Nathaniel Jensen. You too were charged with DWI with blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. Does the state have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move to amend the information adding count 2 of obstruction, and then would waive and abandon count 1 and proceed on count 2.
There's no objection, Judge.
And does the defense also waive the 10-day notice on amendment?
Yes, we have, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Then, Mr. Jensen, you are now fortunate that your attorney has gotten an agreement that in effect gives you a chance not to have any conviction on you. In particular, you are now charged with obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway. And if you live up to all the conditions, every bit of them, then you will not have even a conviction of obstruction. So to the charge of obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway, how do you plead, Mr. Jensen?
Oh, okay, Your Honor.
Pardon me? You
I
plead
understand. I understand. Sorry, I'm hearing impaired, so I'm having my sister tell me what you're saying, so.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
How do you plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
All right. A no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court. It is sufficient for me to convict you here and now. Do you understand that? Mr. Jensen?
I understand.
All right. Based on your plea of no contest and the evidence, I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I'm going to grant you the deferred adjudication that you have agreed to accept. State, would you recite for the record what that punishment will be on this deferred adjudication?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is 14 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, $50 to Crime Stoppers,
Say again?
$50 to Crime Stoppers, DWI education program, victim impact panel, TAP evaluation, and ignition interlock for half the term.
Judge Barron's, is this the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Jensen, do you understand this is the agreement?
I understand.
Do you have children you support?
Do I have
Children.
that I support? Yes, yes, Your Honor.
How many?
I have 3 kids.
And what ages are they?
How old are
15, 6, and 9.
All right. And your total income from all sources?
they? Total income.
Total income right now, I'm as of right now, I'm unemployed. Doing side jobs as of right now.
What do you normally make?
I want to say like 1,500 per month, around there.
1,600?
I think he said 1,500,
No,
Judge.
1,500.
Already. All right, the court approves the agreement on punishment. You are sentenced to 14 months deferred adjudication. You will have a $250 fine plus court costs. You'll pay $50 to Crime Stoppers. You'll perform 40 hours of community service restitution. You'll have to do the DWI education program, the victim impact panel. You'll submit a TAP evaluation, and recommendations will be subject to my approval. You'll have ignition interlock continuously for 7 months on your vehicle. You're not to drive any other vehicle other than your own equipped with ignition interlock. Your supervisory fee will be the minimum, which is $25 a month. All 3 of you folks will have to meet with Maricela Luna so she can start you off on probation. And each of you will have to come to the offices of County Court Law Number 5 to have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. Mr. Sanchez, you were charged with DWI. State, is there any?
Judge, before we close the matter on Mr. Jensen, I had wanted to address the court on a couple issues.
Yes, sir, Mr. Judge Barron.
Well, Mr. Jensen, as he's told you, when he was working regular, was only making $1,500 a month, and obviously that's below the poverty line, especially for a family of 3 kids and I guess a mother. I wanted to ask him about that a little bit and see if you were willing to consider probating the fine. And I think that he's had a device on his car the entire time this case has been pending, which has been quite a while, and was wondering whether or not the court would take that into consideration toward the requirement as part of a plea.
Okay, the court will probate the $250 fine. I had already cut it back in half of what you had agreed to, Judge, but I
Thank
will
you.
probate it because of his financial circumstances. In addition, how long have you had the ignition interlock on Mr. Jensen? Since when?
Nathan, how long have you had that?
Not- I'm not sure exactly how long.
Well, was it since you got arrested?
Yes, sir.
Which
I
is
don't
what,
have-
Judge?
I don't have the offense date in front of me, Judge. Is it on the file label there? I'll have to look it up. But you might have it right there.
Judge, this case was originally assigned to Judge Vara in 15, and the offense date is July 3rd, 2020.
2020. So
2020.
he's
Okay,
apparently he's been subject to that for well over a year now.
yes. All right. Mr. Jensen, I'm going to give you credit for the ignition interlock. You will not have to do it. In fact, we're going to remove it from you. However, during the entire 14 months of supervision, I will be watching. And if you violate any of the conditions, you may find yourself in a lot of trouble. Bluntly, you probably will. So don't give me reason to
Regret?
regret. There you go. Thank you, sir. Don't give me reason to regret helping you out. You have enough problems as it is. Is that understood, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas to you and your loved ones. Mr. Sanchez,
Thank you.
all right, we have state, what are we doing? I know it's going to be deferred adjudication. Is there a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move to waive and abandon count 1 and proceed solely on count 2.
Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Campbell, do you have any objection?
No objection, Judge, and I'll waive my 10 days notice.
Okay, there is no objection. Therefore, Mr. Sanchez, you're now charged, no longer charged with DWI. You're now charged with obstruction of a passageway, highway or waterway. To that charge, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Based on your plea and the evidence, I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. Instead, I'm going to honor the agreement to grant you deferred adjudication. State, recite for us the agreement, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the agreement is for 12 months deferred adjudication, a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, $50 to Crime Stoppers, DWI education, Victim Impact Panel Live, TAP evaluation, DOEP, the Drug Offender Education Program,
Recite that part again.
DOEP, which stands for
D,
Drug
D
Offender.
like driver, L like Longoria,
No, O as in,
okay, DOEP.
exactly.
All right, that's Drug Offender Education Program.
Yes, Judge.
Hearing drug, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, submit to regular UAs and attend at least one Narcotics Anonymous meeting per week.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, is this your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Campbell, is that the agreement?
Yes, Judge, the one thing that Mr. Sanchez would ask in addition to this is that we allow him to do his probation in Kerrville. He lives in Kerr County, and having to travel to Bear County might be a little bit of a problem for him.
Ms. Luna, be sure that we allow that, please. That'll be the
Judge.
court's order that he can do the community service hours in Kerr County. He
So
will
it would be reside in Kerr County and report virtually through Zoom to Bear.
That is correct. And in Kerr County, he can do his community service hours.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Now, Mr. Sanchez, you have a family you support.
I have a stepdaughter and I have a baby on the way.
Okay. And what is your total income?
About 22,000 a month. Or I mean 22,000 a year. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's almost as good as the judges.
You know, Judge, I've got a degree in finance and I've got dyslexia when it comes to numbers like that too. I would say for zeros.
2,200 a month. Do you have income from anybody else in the household? Your wife, for example?
No, sir. I'm sorry. It was 2,200 a month and no, sir, no other income.
All right. Then I approve the agreement that's been reached between you and the state. I will probate 100 of it, of the fine. Otherwise, it's 12 months deferred adjudication. And the rest of it is recited by the state, VIP Live, driver's education, pardon me, DWI Ed, TAP evaluation, recommendations subject to my approval. You will do the DOEP, Drug Offender Education Program. You'll submit regular urine samples for testing. And other matters as the supervisory fee, I'm going to do the minimum, which is $25 a month. All right, questions, Mr. Sanchez?
Do I report to probation in Bear County? Was that?
You will report by virtually by computer.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Ms. Luna will help you and remind you of that shortly. You got to meet with her.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Any other questions, Mr. Campbell?
Oh, Your Honor.
Alrighty. Then Merry Christmas to all of you. We're gonna have, I think, what, Joe Stateson, are you all finally ready?
Yes,
I
Judge,
got-
they are.
I got the
Yeah.
completed paperwork. We should be ready.
Judge,
We're all set.
Yes, sir, Judge. Did you want me to place Ms. Luna in a breakout room with the other three?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, please.
before that's done, I forgot one final thing. My client brought to my attention that she does not have a vehicle and you ordered ignition airlock. I wanted to see if she can do the portable device in lieu of the ignition airlock. Vehicle, Judge.
That's on Ms. Garcia.
Yes, that's on Miss Garcia, Judge. Sorry, she just brought it up to me. It slipped my mind.
All right, portable alcohol monitor. Now, where is your vehicle that you had when you got arrested?
That vehicle was completely totaled, and it's been 4 years since I've driven. So. For almost 4 years.
Wait, when was this arrest made?
February 14th of 2018.
Okay, and you have not driven since?
No, I take the bus or I Uber everywhere else.
So what
It
happened
was,
to the car?
it was totaled.
Okay, all right. The court orders in the case of 565712, Ms. Garcia, that she will have the portable alcohol monitor in lieu of the ignition interlock, since she is saying under oath that she does not drive anymore.
Thank you, Judge.
We'll
Thank you,
be
Your
on you if you get caught driving, lady.
No, I don't drive anymore. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I always laugh and say, I don't drive anymore, just like I don't drink anymore. The question is, do you drink any less? So, all right, case number on Ms. Shorts.
Judge may I be excused.
Yes, gentlemen, all of you, Merry Christmas to you, but the three defendants must meet with Ms. Luna.
Yes, Judge.
Case number on Ms. Shorts,
650168.
168.
Yeah, 650168.
Ms. Donisha,
Yes, sir.
pardon me,
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Donisha Shorts. And what is the charge on her, Mr. Stateson?
Assault bodily injury, and it is not family violence.
All right. Non-fam, okay. All right. Ms. Shorts, you've been charged with assault bodily injury. Not good. And state, is there an agreement on this?
Yes, Your Honor, there is.
Obviously there is. What is the essence of the agreement?
It's going to be for 6 months deferred, fully probated $400 fine, 24 hours community service, a P as in Paul, SE, and no contact with Dominique Adams.
I'm sorry, no contest, no contact with whom?
Dominique, DOMINIQUE,
And last name is Adams?
Adams, correct.
Okay. That it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Shorts, to the charge of assault bodily injury, how do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
A no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court, and it's sufficient for me to convict you here and now. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
As I have explained earlier, a deferred adjudication is very, very beneficial, because if you complete 100% of the conditions of supervision, then the case gets dismissed, and under Texas law, you've not been convicted. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
On the other side of it, if you fail or refuse to live up to 100% of the conditions, the state may ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing, at which the result may be, if in my opinion, the evidence supports it under law, then you will be convicted, and you'll be looking at 100% of the range of punishment, which is under assault bodily injury, is a fine from $0 to $4,000 and jail from 0 days to 1 year. If you come back in and you have violated these conditions, I will look at the evidence, but I will not be happy to see you. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I accept your plea of no contest. I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I grant you 6 months deferred adjudication, a $400 fine, fully probated, which means live up to all the conditions. You don't even have to pay the fine. You already heard what happens on the violation if you do. You will do 24 hours of community service restitution. You will complete the AP, like Paul, SE, anti-anger program. You will have no contact whatsoever, direct or indirect, with Dominique Adams. Any questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Do you have children you support?
No, sir.
And what is your total income?
Right now I'm getting disability, $450.
Okay. Is that a permanent disability?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a little Merry Christmas here. I'm going to waive the supervisory fee. I don't want you to pay, out of the little bit that you have, I don't want you to pay a supervisory fee. However, don't make me regret it. You live up to all these conditions. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then stick around. You will meet also shortly with Ms. Luna. She will get you started on probation. The probation people, they will explain and read to you literally the conditions that you'll be living up to. You will sign those. They'll put a copy in your hands. No one that gets probation in my court come back and tell me later, I didn't know that that was a condition, because you will have the conditions in your hands that you have signed. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
The court costs, right now I'm unable to afford that. I don't have any money at all. I get like assistance from the government to help me with my bills and lights and my rent and everything. So I don't know how I'm gonna pay that.
Okay, if there are any court costs, they will be waived at this time.
Okay.
I don't usually do that, but you've got enough misery as it is. Stay out of trouble, ma'am. And
Thank you,
there's
Judge.
Ms. Luna. You will meet with Ms. Luna and she'll get things going with you.
May I ask one question before Ms.
Oh,
Schwartz?
by the way,
leaves?
excuse me a second, Ms. Schwartz, you will have to come by the courthouse, the office here, so you can have your thumbprint placed on the documents that are required by law. All right. What do we got now, folks? Anybody else? Anything else?
Judge, may I inquire one thing about Ms. Schwartz, the thumbprints?
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz had indicated that she doesn't have access to a vehicle. It may take her longer to travel someplace in advance.
She's got 7 days to get here to get the thumbprint on.
7 days, okay.
Yep.
Is that it? Something you can do, Ms. Schwartz, within 7 days?
We have a public bus system. I'm sure that she can do it.
All
All
right,
right.
thank you, Judge.
Take care, Mr. Statesman. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry
and Ms.
Christmas.
Schwartz.
Thank you, Judge. Merry Christmas.
Marty, do you want me to put you in a breakout room with her?
Yes, Betty, please.
Larry Meadows, what are you doing?
Judge, I think we have an agreement on Julian Flores. And I think all the paperwork has been submitted.
Larry, he still needs to sign the paperwork that I sent you.
What's the case number, Larry?
667018, Judge. I know my name's not Larry, but
It's Larita. 667.
018. And I believe Mr. Garza is in the courtroom, Judge. Deputy Lara, can you ask him to step up to the bench, please? Larry, do you recall signing everything and having him sign everything?
Yes, I believe so.
I've seen papers come through me as Garza, Patty.
All right. I'm
I
gonna
show that he still
check.
needs to sign the state's paperwork.
Yeah, I show that he signed the discovery, and that's all he signed. I have not gotten the plea packet or the plea agreement.
Can you send it to the courtroom?
Huh? No, I sent them to Mr. Julian Garza's email address that you had given us.
Yeah, okay. He hasn't signed it?
Well, unless
Alright.
it's sitting in the judge's Adobe.
I try to send it. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't work. I just throw this one.
I just sent a reminder on mine, so it should be at the very top of his email now.
Check your email, sir.
You can check your spam account too, because sometimes it goes there. But you need to look for that paperwork. And I'm gonna check to see if you've signed the court's paperwork. It says it was only viewed by you today at 11:30.
Yeah, but I don't know how to send it. So I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do.
Okay, Larry, can't get done today then. We'll have to bring you back after you've had time to get with your client and educate him on what he has to do.
All right, Judge.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Judge, I just sent a reminder
Yes,
to him.
I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
He's the one that's given up on it. I don't blame him.
Julian, do you have a computer?
No.
Can we see send the plea paperwork to the courtroom? Patty?
No. Deputy Lara, is there any way you can help him with opening his email account? I know it's there. I
It's
just
here,
sent him.
but I try to send it.
See, this is not click that out, this portion.